There you are, Cutethlhu, nice and at home. I know last week's video was a little abnormal, but last week's video was also a passion project for me and it took all of my energy. So this week's video is gonna be a lot more chill and a lot more relaxed because this week, we're gonna talk about trains. Cutethlhu, do you like trains? Oh wait, no, wait, no. Trains. That's right, this week we're talking about trains, but we're not just talking about any train, we're talking about a giant demonic train with spider legs and the most horrifying looking face in the history of video games. This week we are talking about Choo Choo Charles. If you are unfamiliar with Choo Choo Charles, I know that I am so far behind this video. This topic died 2 days after the game came out, which was back in December. But I played this game the day it came out, played the whole thing, got every achievement, and I thought this game was a fucking blast. I loved it. But Choo Choo Charles was the passion project of one dude, the YouTuber and developer 2Star. The original Choo Choo Charles announcement trailer came out October 1st, 2021, so almost 2 years ago now, and it blew the fuck up. And everyone was ready for this fucking demon spider-legged train and this fucking machine gun train fighting demon train game. It looked silly, it looked fun, it just was really exciting. It's fun when developers have a silly idea like that and they just see it through to the end. But obviously the game kind of blew up and became a lot more popular than the developer was expecting. So he delayed the game a little bit, spent a lot of time trying to make sure the game was exactly how he wanted it, and the game finally released last December, and it was fun. I thought it was silly. It was made by one dude, like I said, and it was just tight enough and just fun enough to keep me entertained for the 2.5 hours that I played it. I got all the achievements and everything done in 2.5 hours, and it was mwah. It was perfect. It was a small little $10 game. It was exactly what it needed to be, for me at least. I thought it was fantastic. But there is a little game journalistic publication by the name of IGN. They disagreed. Look, saying that IGN has bad video game takes is like saying that water is wet or that a hot dog is a sandwich. It is extremely controversial, makes no sense, and people don't quite know what you're trying to say by it. All that to say that, like, look, IGN sometimes has good things, they just do it. IGN is just a disaster of an internet publication. Like, if you talk about IGN, you have to land on either one side of the fence, but I don't have any strong opinions on IGN, except for this fucking review. If you've been on the internet for any length of time, you probably know of IGN's disastrous 5.9 review for Alien Isolation, one of the greatest horror games of the modern video game generation, the greatest interpretation of Ridley Scott's fucking magnum opus of a horror movie, and these motherfuckers gave it a 5.9 for being a little too long. Is the game longer than it needs to be? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but is that a problem? I don't think so. I think the game lasts well enough to the very end. I think there's definitely spots it could have ended before, but whatever. But the thing is that 5.9 review from IGN, people pretty much call that the nail in the coffin. The reason we don't have a sequel for that game is because of IGN's disastrous 5.9. And here they've come, they've done it again. They gave Choo Choo Charles, and I cannot fucking believe I'm about to say this, a 4. They gave Choo Choo Charles a 4 out of 10. Look, I know that this review came out on December 9th, 2022, so I am like 6 months behind on the topic, but it just popped back into my head that this happened, and I needed to express how fucking dumb IGN was. Okay, so this review starts off, and I'm gonna read it directly from the review. I have an affinity for the absurd, silly, and downright stupid. Look no further than the Goat Simulator 3 review. So when I heard about a game where you're being stalked by the demonic equivalent of Thomas the Tank Engine, I was suitably excited. But while Choo Choo Charles' premise brings me no end of joy, the janky and bare bones adventure itself is way more dull than I thought possible. Unfortunately, this comedy game disguised as a horror game manages to be devoid of humor and terror in equal measure. And even though the runtime is only about 90 minutes, I found myself looking for a way off this crazy train much sooner. I'm sorry. Is Choo Choo Charles a little rough around the edges? Yes. Was it the passion project of one dude? Yes. Are there passion projects made by one person that are like maybe a lot better than Choo Choo Charles? Absolutely, right? Stardew Valley is the 3rd highest rated game on all of Steam. I understand that. But Choo Choo Charles was ambitious. Choo Choo Charles was this one dude's goofy ass idea, and the game he didn't mean for the game to blow up. The game just kind of became super fucking popular. He wasn't expecting it, and so he took the time to make the game even better. He took that time to work on it even more, and look, I think he stuck the landing, okay? You just have to temper your expectations. You're building a train, you're fighting a spider train. That's it, okay? There's nothing deeper below the surface here. I beat the whole game, every achievement in 2.5 hours, and I enjoyed that 2.5 hours. Just have a little bit of fun, IGN. Good God. We're gonna skip to the end real quick. Choo Choo Charles is a silly mess of an adventure, with its joke of a premise falling short of ever delivering the punchline. Combat against the evil train is always tedious and repetitive, and running quests on foot is even more unappealing, with awful stealth sections through dilapidated hallways. Throw in some annoying bugs and a lifeless, empty map, and this funny nugget of an idea disappoints in so many ways it actually makes me angry. Sadly, I have to recommend you choose a different way to spend your time. Fuck you. Fuck you, okay? Oh my God, Dexter, blur the author, okay? We don't need to like dogpile the author, all right? It's a bad take. The author has defended his score of this game because the internet was rightfully completely flabbergasted by this downright atrocious score. 4, he gave it a bad. Choo Choo Charles is a haphazardly assembled meme come to life that's short, silly, and exceedingly dull. That's a dumb review. That's a dumb review. Now, there is a comment in the sections down below, and it says, IGN with the typical bad take. Game is pretty fun and impressive for something made by just one person and priced appropriately. Look at the mess Callisto Protocol for short and overpriced. Which I agree. Callisto Protocol was a disaster. But then the author comments with, the problem with all these qualifiers you're making is that they have no impact on the quality of the game. A game is not better or worse because it had a dev team of a certain size, or because it costs a certain amount. One-person teams have made amazing experiences, and some masterpiece level games are free. At IGN, we cut all that noise away and answer the question, is this game good or not? And why? Okay, look, I have no script here, all right? This is just me going off of my emotions. I understand that at IGN you cut away all the noise. Is the game good or is the game not? But context matters here, okay? The game is a little bit janky, sure. Is it deserving of a 4 out of 10? I don't think so. Have a little bit of joy in your heart. They must have known that this review was gonna anger people. Like, I don't want to assume that this was just like an anger-clicking article, but that's what it feels like to me because the game released and everyone was loving it. Everyone's like, yeah, this is cheesy and dumb. You know, it's good. I give it a thumbs up. You know, people weren't really giving it a rating score because it's kind of a hard game to give a rating score to. It's just kind of a fun game in its context. It's really silly. I enjoyed it. You play it for one session. You don't have to think about it again, but you're supporting a really passionate developer. Even Markiplier, the great God himself, Markiplier, was baffled by this score. Dexter, roll the clip.
What a lovely game. I want to talk about an injustice that I saw before I started playing this, which was that IGN, and you never rely on IGN's reviews of anything ever, right? They gave this game a 4 out of 10. I've played so many indie games. I've played so many indie games. This had great moments, great atmosphere. It was fun. It had moments that dragged, sure. And it had like things that were unpolished. It was made by one guy. This was great. Like, I'd understand being like, oh, you know, it's a little rough around the edges. Oh, I'd had some times it drags. Like, maybe if they were like, 7.5, I'd be like, all right, sure, yeah. Just don't give scores. Who cares about scores anymore?
Look, after last week's video, I just needed a bit of a break. Last week's video was a passion project. It took everything out of me. And so I just wanted to kind of sit in front of the camera and ramble for a couple minutes because this is something that absolutely baffled me. I don't understand. 2-star, if somehow, God forbid, you're ever watching this review or this video, just know that I loved Choo Choo Charles and I want you to keep doing what you're doing. And I don't want you to listen to IGN and their 4 out of 10 review. It's undeserving. It's dumb. Your game was rough around the edges, but I'm sure you know that. But I had a very, very fun time playing your game. I think it delivered on its promise. You gave us a train, you gave us some spider legs, you gave us some cool weapons to kill the spider train. I had a blast playing it. IGN, this is a dumb take. Your Alien Isolation video is a dumb take. I'm tired. I'm tired. And I'm gonna go to bed. Cutethlhu, what do you have to say? I agree. Choo Choo Charles gets a thumbs up from me.